Recreated in time from the past you private. I see my mind mapped in a maze inside of a labyrinth with patterns automatically made, trying to find a relief. I have to capture the rage, then transcribe it on beats and put it out on a page. Cause haphazardly engaging in battles at any stage quickly catapults accountable cowards into the grave. Now advocates for peace and freedom can be compatible. Even if they shatter the dreams, we keep it casual. But radicals attacking fanatics to grab the capital can never last. It's laughable and impractical. Trilateral commissions of vision that's international. So natural conditions of living have been irrational. So for people that really believe in karma or balance or anything other than what they taught you, you can see the witness encounter between the armor. I'm wondering while I wonder what powers that we can offer. We're proud of the responders, but how do they keep it honest when their fallacies undoubtedly shadow people in off? And they say we don't even need a resistance. See how easily the people dismissed it. We only see what's being depicted. We don't even see the dreams of the distant. Hope is all we need and expected, but it seems our hearts needed assistance. Our goals try keeping us lifted. When the hope dies, things are constricted. Perpetuating the misery, elevation is distant and dedicated to victory. Never gave you no sympathy, I debated epiphanies. I demonstrated pages by denigrating no sin with this entertainment ain't just a better escape instantly. There's barely been resistance like the invasion of Sicily.
All right, alrighty. Hope you enjoyed that little intro, courtesy of my boy DK Dreamkeeper. He's a hell of an artist. If you're not familiar with his work, I just played a little bit from the first song on his album, Dreamstar. Check it out on his page. But yeah, here we are. So thank you for joining me on another episode of the Dream Dojo live show. I'm here alone, just by myself this time, and that's okay. I actually have a guest joining me this weekend, Mr. Christian Garik. I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Lifelong dreamer with an awesome background in studying this stuff. We're going to dive deep with him this upcoming weekend. So definitely look out for the link to join that show. But tonight's going to be a little different. It's just me. So I figured I'd come to you and talk about the first step on your journey towards awakening to the life of your dreams. And obviously it has to start with sleep. Come across some statistics recently that said over 50% of the world population reports not getting enough sleep, which makes sense to me. I think, especially in Western culture, we're pretty sleep deprived due to technology and work-life balance. But when you think about the fact that we're supposed to sleep 8 hours a night out of a 24-hour day, that's a third of your life otherwise wasted, unconscious. Right. So really the first step towards awakening to the potential of your dreams is focusing on resetting your sleep and getting high quality restorative rest. So yeah, we're going to take a little journey and sort of tell it in the form of a story. So I've typed something up just to read out to you guys. Let me share it here. So welcome to the Dreamer's Journey, Step 0, Falling Asleep, your call to adventure. Tonight, we embark on a journey guided by the ancient wisdom of the Tarot's Fool's Journey. In the realm of Tarot, the Fool's Journey is a symbolic narrative that unfolds across the major arcana cards, depicting the protagonist's path of self-discovery and enlightenment. At its core, the Fool's Journey mirrors the hero's journey outlined by Joseph Campbell, where the protagonist embarks on a transformative quest filled with trials, challenges, and ultimately profound growth. Many popular generational tales utilize this archetypal structure that resonates across cultures and strikes at the core of human experience, such as Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Lord of the Rings. These stories often feature a coming-of-age tale of a seemingly ordinary individual, like a boy raised by his uncle who discovers he is destined for greatness and embarks on a journey of self-discovery and empowerment. In the tarot, the Fool represents the innocent, untamed spirit setting out on a journey of exploration and adventure. Through encounters with archetypal figures and experiences depicted in the tarot cards, the Fool learns valuable lessons, overcomes obstacles, and ultimately undergoes a spiritual awakening. Every night is a chance to start fresh, Regardless of how yesterday's sleep was, each new night presents an opportunity to begin anew. We can't make up for lost sleep. Instead, we must surrender to the present moment and embrace the opportunity for rest and renewal. Like the fool's childlike wonder and excitement for the journey ahead, we approach sleep and dreams with a sense of curiosity and openness, ready to explore the mysteries of the subconscious mind. Packing for the journey. Just as the fool prepares for a journey into the unknown, we too must prepare ourselves for the adventure of falling asleep and awakening to our dreams. Dress in clothes that make you feel good and comfortable. Establish a relaxing pre sleep routine. Set a schedule that works for you. And don't forget to pack your journal. Your journal will be your companion on this journey, allowing you to track your progress and experiences, gain insights into your sleep patterns, and deepen your connection with your dreams. Join us as we navigate the labyrinth of the mind, guided by the fool's unwavering spirit towards a profound awakening to the mysteries of sleep and dreams. So, thank you for joining me, whether you're watching this live or after the fact. We're going to dive right in, right? So, if you're unfamiliar with the monomyth, also known as the hero with 1,000 faces, the hero's journey, or the fool's journey, right? Basically, it is the story of life, how it starts in the ordinary world at stage 0, right where you are. No matter where you're at in your journey of sleep and dreams, you have to start with what you have and wherever you're at now. I'm curious, how is your sleep? Be honest. Are you sleeping the recommended 8 to 9 hours a night if you're an adult? Because kids need even more. And as we get older, perhaps we need, more sleep again. But most people aren't getting the recommended amount of sleep for various reasons. May it be overnight shift work, or being the caretaker to a young child, or sharing a bed with someone. All sorts of reasons keep us up at night, especially the reason I'm coming to you now. It's technology, right? We've got screens and electricity and Netflix. Got to finish that series, right? So there's no shortage of excuses, but really only you can find the reasons why sleep matters. And it should be common sense, right? There's 5 basic things we all need in life as human beings, right? In order: breath, water, food, shelter, and sleep. And I would argue that, right there with sleep is your dreams, because you can't have dreams without sleep. And you may very well need both to be a functioning person in this world. So, stage 0 of the dreamer's journey is falling asleep. But in order to get there, we sort of have to backtrack a little bit, right? So, falling asleep, uh, much like walking that fine line between consciousness, unconsciousness, waking life, and the dream world, you can't force it. You have to attract it, right? You have to wear yourself out during the day to welcome sleep at night. And I'd like to share, my personal journey in hopes of finding something that works for you. So explore others' experiences, but experiment with what works for you personally. So step 1 of this stage of the fool's journey or the dreamer's journey, either one, is start with where you're at. Just be honest. Are you getting enough sleep? If you're not, then you're not going to feel rested. You're not going to have enough dreams. So how do you get enough sleep if you're not, right? It's one thing to say, yeah, it's rough. I've got a crazy work schedule. I'm stressed, whatever the case may be. But I'm going to help you reverse engineer your sleep patterns so that you can start today and get better sleep. So the next step is determine a wake up time. It should be the same time every day, right? Let me put this in the comments. All right. So step 1, start with where you're at. Are you getting enough sleep? And then step 2, schedule a specific wake up time. Keep it the same every single day. All right, so what do I mean by that? By scheduling a specific wake up time, you should be able to figure out, regardless of whether you have work, school, weekday, weekend, what time can I wake up every single day, no matter what. Now, let me use myself as an example. I've got an almost 2-year-old daughter now. She sleeps pretty well overnight. She sleeps 8 to 10 hours, like clockwork for sure. Usually 10 or 11 hours. And so I can figure out basically when she's going to wake up based on when she falls asleep. But in order for her to wake up or to be tired at a specific time, I found that by controlling the time she wakes up, um, it dictates the rest of the day, right? So you can stay awake at night and deprive yourself of sleep for all sorts of reasons. And evolutionarily speaking, it makes sense, right? That we should be able to stay up to avoid danger, or to, if we're hungry, to find food, or whatever the case may be. If we're just, falling into the entertainment trap and watching endless episodes on Netflix, right? It's easier to stay awake than it is to wake up when we're tired. So start by picking a wake up time, because I've found that you will naturally feel tired when it's time for sleep. And so going back to my example, if my daughter's sleeping average 10 hours every night, I want her to wake up around, let's say, 8 to 9 a.m. in the morning, right? And the reason I mention this is because I still need time to wake up and sort of go through my morning routine, enjoy that cup of coffee, plan my day. So I always recommend giving yourself an hour wake up window um, in order to transition from being completely asleep to getting your day started. So if I need a couple hours before she wakes up, that means I need to wake up around 6, 7 o'clock in the morning at the latest in order to have some me time. And so if I'm waking up at 6, 7 o'clock every day, and I know I can wake up that time every day, no matter what. Let's say you have work at 9 a.m. You work a 9 to 5. You still want to give yourself a couple hours, right? Maybe it takes 20 minutes to get to work, right? So you sort of work backwards. You still need time to wake up, enjoy your breakfast, have a cup of coffee, shower, whatever the case may be. Nobody wants to wake up, rush out of bed, throw clothes on, and just run out the door. That's not setting your day up for success, right? That's a very stressful transition from rest to work. So give yourself time to wake up and do the things you want to do that make you feel empowered, and start your day off on a great note. So designate your wake up time. Make sure it's the same time every day. For me, it's 6 or 7 a.m. Okay, let's stick with 7 a.m. and work backwards. So if I'm waking up at 7 a.m. every day and I know I've got to sleep 8 to 9 hours a night, as a matter of fact, in order to feel rested, right? Then what's 8 hours from 7 a.m.? That's 11 p.m. at night. Now I've determined step 3, which is schedule your bedtime, right? So now we've determined the same time we can wake up every day. We've determined how much sleep we need to feel rested and what time we should go to bed. You still want to give yourself that hour window between when you decide to lay down and when you actually fall asleep. There's a technical term for this that's known as sleep latency. Okay, so let me add that in the comments. So step 3, reverse engineer your wake up time. Subtract 8 hours from your wake up time. So now I know I need to go to bed around 11 p.m. and wake up at 7 a.m. every day. That's giving me 8 hours of sleep. Does that make sense? All right. So just like you want to give yourself that hour to wake up in the morning, you want to give yourself an hour to wake or wind down for rest at night also. So 10 p.m. should be the latest that I'm winding down for bed. And that means cutting off your screens, doing some relaxation routines. And really, this already gets us to step 4, guys. It's this simple. Step 4 is develop your evening rituals. So, evening rituals consist of the things that help you relax and signal to your brain that it's time for bed. You should not be eating, close to bedtime. If you're really hungry, have a lighthearted snack, but try not to eat for at least 3 hours before bed. Hopefully, more than that. The same way you shouldn't have coffee like 6 hours before bed, right? All these things are going to keep you feeling alert and awake for longer when you should be transitioning, for sleep after sunset, really. That's aligning your life with the natural cycle. So, step 4 is design your evening rituals. And really, this is going to be personal to you. There's a ton of different things I could recommend, but my personal favorites are always uh, reading, meditating, journaling, and showering too. Showering is really effective for me personally. It's very relaxing. You can light a candle to dim the lights, and turn on a nice warm shower and just chill out till you feel tired. And that works really well for me. But again, experiment with what works for you. So step 4 is design evening rituals that help you relax. So yeah, you don't want to be on your phone scrolling. You don't want to be watching TV. I know a lot of people enjoy doing that, right? But try it out. Just see if you can pick up a book instead. I mean, what a thought, right? Do you have any books laying around, or are they like paperweights on your desk? Break out a book and do something relaxing instead of, watch an exciting movie that makes you feel more alert than if you hadn't watched it. Um, and then, just like you want to design your evening rituals, I'm going to jump ahead again and go back to the morning routine and say you got to develop things that wake you up and get you excited for the day. So, the reason shower at night makes me relaxed is because of the temperature. And temperature is another way you can signal to your brain that it's time for bed. So, basically, um, at night, when the sun goes down, the temperature naturally drops and your body temperature drops, and it signals it's time to hit the hay. So why would a warm shower make you feel cooler? Well, it has to do with blood circulation. Um, and when you expose yourself to cold temperatures, your body's actually going to pump blood and sort of get you excited so that it warms up your extremities. And vice versa. In the morning, if you take a cold shower, which I don't recommend if you don't feel well, otherwise, cold showers can be good for you. And again, they help regulate your blood flow, and essentially when you get out of a cold shower it's gonna warm you up. It's sort of like get your blood rushing and makes you feel all jittery. It actually helps fight depression and anxiety as well, so there's some interesting research there. But use temperature to your advantage. And also, just like I mentioned, how the sun going down leads to a decrease in temperature, the sun rising lends itself to an increase in temperature. You want to get light exposure during the day and diminish lights at night. So candles are a great way to cut back on light after dark. And in the morning, when you wake up, try to get sunshine as soon as possible. Actually, the sun is the best source of light you can find, guys. It's brighter than even the fluorescent lights that blind you in retail stores. You can't get sunshine and sunlight through your window or even through the lenses of your glasses. You have to get outside and expose yourself to nature. What a thought. Even on a cloudy day, there's still so much sunlight that still gets through. So, yeah, use light and temperature to your advantage. And then the next thing is activity level, right? So during the day, we're active, and at night, we're less active. We're winding down. So get moving early in the day, get some sunshine, and raise your body temperature. Those are all great ways to develop a morning routine that helps you feel awake, alert, and ready to tackle the day. So let's recap, right? We covered a lot of stuff there. Start with where you are. That's step one. No matter what is happening now, you got to be honest with yourself. Are you getting enough sleep? Are you falling asleep and waking up at the same time every day? Do you have evening rituals and morning routines conducive to your schedule? That's really the three-step process, right? So, how do we keep track of this stuff, right? If this were a workshop, what I would really like for you to do is to break out a piece of paper or a journal, essentially. And this journal is going to act as your companion for the rest of these journeys that we take delving into sleep and dreams. We're only at step 0. This is just the beginning. It's basically the ordinary world. Where are you now? What are you doing? Start with what you've got. Crack open that journal and start with the first step. Am I getting enough sleep? Yes or no? Am I waking up at the same time every day? Yes or no? What time are you waking up? And if you're not waking up at the same time, why not? All right, that might be like an extra question. And then, are you going to bed at the time every day? Why not? Um, that consistency really does play a key role in creating a circadian rhythm, a natural sleep schedule that works for you around whatever else you have got going on, work, school, family life, whatever it may be. Um, so if the answer to any of those questions was no, I'm not doing that, then you need to create a space in your journal to plan it out. Next line should be, what time can I wake up every single day, no matter what I've got going on? Schedule that time. Stick to it. Set an alarm. Set 3 alarms. If you're like me, one won't cut it. I'll snooze it. It won't work. But if you're going to bed at night and you're cutting out that technology, I have a little tip or trick for you. Instead of sleeping with your phone on your face, right, with it still lit up and pressed against your eyeballs, plug your phone in somewhere you have to get up to turn it off. That's one great way to make sure that your alarm works, right? Make it inconvenient. I remember I used to have an alarm. Actually, I downloaded an app that made me solve math problems in order to turn my alarm off. It was torture. I mean, it was like, what's 567 divided by 12? And it was like a decimal. Terrible. But even my sleeping brain figured out how to defeat this thing. I started just holding the power button to reset the device and it would shut it off. So eventually that didn't work, right? There's these funny gadgets you can buy where it's like a scale. You've got to step on it in order to deactivate the alarm, right? That wouldn't work for me either. Just make it slightly more inconvenient because the second you get out of bed, you're already waking yourself up. That may not be conducive to dreams, right? If you're getting up and moving right away, but right now we're just focused on sleep. So schedule your wake up time, set an alarm, try to cut out the technology at night. If you need help, sticking to that wake up time and your alarm doesn't really wake you up if you're super tired, then plug it in across the bedroom somewhere you have to get up to turn it off. But make sure you can hear it, make sure the alarm is set and your volume's turned on. So the next thing after you write down your wake up time and you do all those other things is reverse engineer your bedtime. So you know what time you can wake up every day, work backwards 8 to 9 hours, at least 8 hours, right? Because it takes me at least 15 minutes to fall asleep. You want to make sure that you're giving yourself time to wind down after you lay down. And write that down, right? So now you've written down your wake up time and you've worked backwards 8 hours to find up your bedtime. Now, the next step is to write down some evening rituals and morning routines, right? So evening rituals are the things that help you relax. For me, I suggest reading, writing in a journal, meditating, stretching, a nice warm, relaxing shower or bath. Those 5 things are great ways to signal to your brain, hey, it's time to chill out and call it a day, no matter what happened. Just like the fool's journey, you can't make up for lost sleep. You got to start with where you're at today and just start new, start fresh. And then write down some morning routines too. So when you wake up, what are you going to do to fight that sleepiness you feel, right? Especially if you're adjusting your schedule, you want to make sure you're not overdoing it at first. Start slow, maybe make 15, 30-minute adjustments to whatever time you're working with now, and allow for an adjustment period, because if you burn yourself out, you'll just give up and quit. Excuse me. So just start slow, ease into it. I mentioned some more suggestions for how to create a morning routine that's conducive to waking you up and sticking to that schedule. So immediately get as much light, natural sunlight as you can. Expose yourself to temperature. If you take a cold shower, it's going to wake you up and increase your blood flow, which in turn will raise your core body temperature. But by getting outside, usually the sunshine rising in the sky will also raise the temperature outside as well. And then your activity level. If you can take a nice walk around your neighborhood. I have dogs I have to walk every day, and they keep me on schedule, right? Food is another one. So they call it breakfast for a reason. It's because you're breaking your fast, right? Fasting is when you go a prolonged period without eating. And for most people, that's overnight while they're sleeping. So break your fast, have some breakfast, a healthy meal, and signal to your body it's time to start the day, and then give yourself some energy to actually do whatever you've got to do. And that works really well. The last thing I'd like to mention for a morning routine is coffee, because everybody loves coffee. I know I do. It's a part of my routine, but most people don't know how coffee works. And there's this chemical buildup called adenosine in your brain that builds up while you're awake throughout the day. It makes you feel tired and sleepy. And the more adenosine, the more tired you'll feel. But coffee, on the other hand, actually blocks out the receptors. So if there's a receptor in your brain that keeps collecting adenosine and keeps collecting adenosine, and all these receptors keep filling up with adenosine, coffee just closes that up. So adenosine comes, it bounces off. It can't stick. And then coffee starts to wear off, and it opens back up, and then you have all this buildup of adenosine that leads to a crash. So what do you do about that? If you wake up, try to go 30 minutes to an hour without that first cup of coffee. Rehydrate, just like you break your fast with food. Rehydrate with water first. Try to make it an hour. After you get some light, walk around a little bit, then you can enjoy your cup of coffee. Sit down, plan your day. And that allows you to naturally flush out some of that extra adenosine that was left over if you didn't sleep long enough. So the only real way to get rid of adenosine, right? Even coffee doesn't delete it. It just blocks you from feeling it, is to sleep. So that's why you got to make sure you're sleeping enough. And then all these other habits just help you stick to that schedule. So that's my advice, guys. I know this is short, and I could definitely write it down and spit it out a lot cleaner than I just did now, but I hope some of that made sense, right? Start with where you are. Figure out when you can wake up every day. Count back 8 hours. Give yourself time to wind down for bed and to wake up in the morning. Develop evening rituals and morning routines that help you stick to that schedule. And you're on your way. You're on your way to a better night's rest, and just try it. Break out a journal. Write down some of those questions I asked. How are you sleeping? Do you feel rested? Are you sleeping enough? Do you wake up and go to bed at the same time every day? Do you have routines that help you stick to that schedule? It might seem simple, but record how you feel, make the changes, and then document what happens. See if it makes a difference in your energy level, your attitude, your productivity, right? There's a lot of things that change when you change your sleep habits. So try it out. I'd love to hear your thoughts. Please, if you watch this after the fact, since I'm just here talking to myself now in my dark, gloomy basement, I'm going to go take a hot shower and wind down for bed. crack open one of my favorite lucid dreaming books, and get some quality rest. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Tune in on Sunday for another Dream Dojo live show with a guest speaker who's been studying dreams for decades now. I really look forward to that conversation, and I can't wait to see you there. Peace and sweet dreams.